It's the late afternoon of Saturday, August 9th, 2003. A man drives from his home into the mountains towards Spy Rock, located in Mendocino County, California, to meet his business partner and collect his money. The amount? Nearly $100,000. But instead, he would never be seen again. And over 20 years later, no body has ever been found. No one has ever been charged. This is the unsolved story of Chris Robert Giauque. A tall, thin man with 4-foot-long dreadlocks, a beard, and a reputation that seemed to grow larger with every story told about him. According to legendary cannabis author Jorge Cervantes, Chris and his camp were known to grow some of the earliest purple varieties, like Mendo Purps and Purple Urkel. And it's rumored that his crew crossed Big Bud and Purple Urkel, a strain well known today as Granddaddy Purp. But what isn't debated is that weed was incredibly valuable. A pound at the time could easily go for over $4,000. Entire fortunes were being made in the hills of Humboldt, Mendocino, and Trinity, the Emerald Triangle. Like many in the weed business then, Chris lived in a highly volatile world. A world where millions of dollars changed hands, where financial disputes fueled threats and intimidation, and also a world where law enforcement apprehension loomed. The DEA would arrest and charge Chris with cannabis cultivation. He was convicted and, in 2002, sent to federal prison. Though while Chris was incarcerated, profits were being made at a property he co-owned with partners Ben Lomax and Adrian Vasquez. The following year, Chris was released. He got married, and life appeared to be moving in the right direction. But fresh out of prison, newly married, and trying to build a future, Chris needed the money. So just 2 weeks later, Chris left his home in Salmon Creek and drove to meet his partners for payment. But because he was on probation and didn't want to be seen driving to the property, he left his truck at an area known as Government Pond and got a ride from there to the Grove. But he would never return home. And 2 days later, his wife would report him missing. But investigators, family members, and friends would soon discover a series of details that only deepened the mystery. Chris's truck was found abandoned miles away in Humboldt County. Witnesses reported seeing someone driving it whom they did not recognize as Chris. Friends searching for answers would visit the Grove property, where Chris was last known to have gone. They were met at the gate by Scott McKinney. They would be let in to look around, and they noticed that Ben Lomax's trailer, which was normally filthy, was spotless and reeking of bleach. Though initially overlooked, Scott McKinney's bandaged arm couldn't go unnoticed, and his conflicting explanations for the injury wouldn't either. Chris's father, Bob Giauque, would devote his life to investigating his son's disappearance, hiring a private investigator, offering a $200,000 reward for information leading to the recovery of his son's remains, and even reserving a billboard in hopes that someone, somewhere, would finally come forward with the truth. Yet still the case would go cold. But perhaps the strangest development of all would happen 12 years later. Bob would receive a call from an unidentified man. The caller claimed he had first-hand knowledge of what happened that night, describing how Chris was set up. He claimed multiple individuals were present, including Ben and Scott. The caller said Chris fought back, but was overpowered and killed, and that his truck was intentionally moved to misdirect investigators. The caller knew details that Bob believed only someone close to the events could have known. The identity of the caller was never confirmed, and the information was never followed up on by law enforcement. Yet the central question remains unchanged. What happened to Chris Giauque? Was it a dispute over money? Maybe he was suspected of cooperating with the DEA due to his short stint in prison. The truth may still be in the hills of Northern California, hidden beneath decades of silence. But one thing has never changed: a father wanting answers. Chris Giauque's case remains unsolved. He drove to Spy Rock one summer evening in 2003 and never came home. It's more than just a disappearance. It's canna history.